Welcome back to Steve's Guitar. So this is going to be Perfect by Ed Sheeran, which you'll be pleased to know only has 3 chords. It's all down strums, pretty straightforward. The chord order changes between the verses and the chorus, but other than that, it's pretty easy. So I'll just get the camera so you can see the guitar, and we'll get stuck in. Be right back. It's a better view. So the chords are G major, E minor, C major, D, and then that resolves back to the G major. That's the verse. The strumming, we're going to use 6 down strums. Now I find the best way to think about that is 2 groups of 3, and we do that twice on the verse but once on the chorus. So let's have a little try. 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. Now, to get it to sound nice, you want a little bit of dynamic variation. So by that I mean I'm going to accentuate 1 or 2 of those downstrokes. Let's try it on the third one. That kind of thing. So you can experiment with that, find what's comfortable, but downstrokes really easy. Now I'm going to mute this, or palm mute it, not fully but slightly while I play it for you, because I think that sounds better, but again, that's entirely up to you. Palm muting, obviously, is just resting this part of your hand against the bridge, just as the strings meet the first part of the bridge there. And the further down you move that, the more muted it becomes until it's not making any noise at all. So I'm going to be holding I think I'm going to use the 4-finger version of G. That's because it's deeply ingrained and I grab it automatically, but you can use the 3-finger version. You do need to hold the entire chord because we want to hit most of the strings. Not too fussed about this top one, and I'll be resting my thumb on that so it won't ring out anyway. If you can do that, great. If you can't, just avoid it, and if you hit it, well, you hit it. It doesn't really matter. So we're going to play a verse, then we'll stop. The chords will be up while I'm playing the verse, then we'll do the chorus. There's some other little bits and pieces to this song, but I'm not going to worry about that now. I'm going to revisit this later and I'll show you the little fills and odds and ends you can put in. What you want to do now is to learn the verse. When you've got that down, do the chorus. It's kind of an easy song to sing along to as well. I'm not going to do that today. I've promised myself that I'm not going to sing unless I really have to. So here we go. All down strums, 6. We're going to do that twice, then we're going to change chord. The chord changes, again, if you sing it in your head, you'll get where the chord changes are. It's not difficult. This is probably the easiest Ed Sheeran song in the world. So here we go. Back to G. So that's the verse, and that repeats throughout the whole song. And now when I was doing that, the chords were showing up in the corner and playing through, so I didn't really have to shout them out. Even though I was desperate to, I've managed to contain myself. So I would recommend that you practice that. Now, the strumming pattern, literally just mute the strings and just get that so as it feels rhythmic and automatic, really. You don't want to be thinking about this while you're messing around down here. Ultimately, you want that to become almost autopilot if you're going to sing as well, because you don't want to be thinking about this and singing. It gets really difficult then. So I'll do that once more, just a little bit slower. Starting with our G major. Back to G. Then around again. Now the chorus, while I was playing that, it came to me, there is a little slight variation in there, so we'll cover that now actually. So for the chorus, all the same chords, different order. So we start on the E minor, then we go to a C major, then the D major, then the G major. Obviously then back to the A minor and round again. The difference is on the last run through of the chorus, instead of going to the E minor, you're going to use the G major, which will take you back in to the verses again. Now, here's the nice bit. So we've had plenty of time to think about the chord changes, you know, 6 strokes twice. Going to cut that in half now. So you're only going to hit the strings down 6 times and then change chord. Not a big deal. And to be honest, you can just slow this down a bit and play this at your own rate. If you want to play along to the original recording, then you'll need to keep pace with Ed Sheeran, which won't be too difficult, but build up over time. Don't rush into this. So we're going to start with our E minor, and we're going to go to our C major, then our D, then our G. That takes you out and then into the next version. So I'll go through again. This is 6 downstrokes, just 6 per chord. So it's half of what we played before. We're playing the same chords in a different order. So I would recommend that you practice the verse, sing along to the verse, get it so as it's really ingrained, you know what you're doing, and then start with the chorus. And again, you can sing the chorus, do it a few times until you feel like you're comfortable, and then put the two together. So we'll go through that just once more. I'm going to start with the E minor, C major, D, and then I'm going to finish on my G, which takes me back to where I began. There's another little thing you can do there. I promise to keep this simple. I'm slightly complicating things. I find when I play it, what I do is when I'm on the D, just before I hit that last stroke and change, I slip in a D sus4. So I'm putting my pinky on that first string on the 3rd fret, which takes you into your G very smoothly. You don't have to mess around. You've got those two fingers on the right place. It's barely noticeable, but actually I think it sounds quite nice. So it goes. And I think that's definitely worth slipping in there because it will make your life just that little bit easier. And that's really what it's all about. We want easy songs, songs that people will recognise straight away, be impressed that you can play them, but you don't have to work too hard to achieve it. So that's the basic structure. That's really what you need so you can play this as a song. As I say, on the verses there's a couple of fillers, there's an intro and there's an outro, which is something that we'll come back to because that's a little bit more complicated. I've worked out a simpler way to do it, but it's still another set of chord changes, another set of timing. It's much faster because you need to get it out of the way quickly to get back into the G chord that you want. So we're going to cover that, I promise. We'll be back to do that. What I'll do in the meantime is I've got 2 other videos which I'm editing. One is Fast Car, Tracy Chapman. And that's actually a variation where we're going to keep everything down in the first 3 frets because it actually slides up here and then back, and that's a step change with, I'll explain that when the time comes, but we can take that away and we can get exactly the same notes, and we can drop a chord out of the progression as well and no one will know, and it just sounds like you're playing all the right chords, all the right notes, because you are just playing them in a different place. So that's coming up. That'll be quite a nice little video. I think that'll get a lot of people interested, and then I'll just do a couple of things like Sweet Home Alabama, which I think I've promised to do numerous occasions. This one, the Ed Sheeran one, was a request. Somebody asked me to teach them this, so I did, and I thought actually such an easy little song, I'll pop a video up, which is what I've done, and I will come back and we'll flower it out to make it a bit more impressive. But for now, have a crack at that, see how you get on. If you don't know the song, because to be honest, I didn't. I'd heard it, but I didn't know the words. I didn't really know what was going on with it, so I had to sit down and watch Ed Sheeran playing it 2 or 3 times. But that was a lot less painful than the time I had to watch Taylor Swift play one of her songs 2 or 3 times because somebody wanted to learn it. And actually, I quite like this song now. I might even have it in the car. Anyway, look, that's enough for now. I'll put the chords up one last time. I'll just run through. If you need any help, you've got any questions, shoot me a comment. Happy to come back to you. And that's it for now. I'll see you again soon. Bye.